This practice will cool you down, whether it's summer or whether you have a constitution where you're naturally very fiery. This practice is for you. You may wish to use either blocks or a blanket for this practice, so have them close by. Let's begin. Lie down on your back with your knees bent. Draw your right knee up and give it a hug in. Place your right hand to your right kneecap and just move the knee very gently in one direction and now in the opposite direction. And park your right foot down. Pull your left thigh in. Nice hip flexion here. Come to a nice, easy and steady breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Now take your left hand to your kneecap and in the same way that we just did, move the knee in a circular fashion. Now go counterclockwise. And release your foot down with your feet as wide apart as your yoga mat, with your arms out like they're wings with the palms facing up. Draw your knees over to the right. Lift them up. Draw them to the left. We're not going deep in the twist, just to bring your awareness to the spine. Some simple twists. Very slow and easy. And now step your feet hip distance apart. With your feet hip distance apart, draw your right knee in. Take your right ankle to the outer left knee with your hands stacked and close to the pant leg crease. Just reach your right knee away from you. Keep your right toes very active and spread. Release your right foot down. Take your left ankle to the outer right knee. Place your hands so that you urge the top of the thigh to move back. Feel this little opening here. Release your left foot down. Take your arms up and over your head. Draw over to a fetal pose to the side. And slowly lift yourself up to come to all fours position. In all fours position, with your toes tucked under, draw your heart forward and exhale, look in toward the heart. Inhale, nice easy fluid movement. Exhale. You're breathing in through the nose as you lift your chin and sit bones. You're drawing out through the nose as you get the back body to get really full. Now let's do a little bit more movement. So move forward slightly on the in-breath. Move back toward your toes on the out-breath. So you're giving a little bit more weight to your feet. You're giving your feet and your Achilles tendon a bit of a stretch. Inhale, all fours, draw slightly forward. Exhale, draw from the navel back toward the spine as you, again, put more weight on the feet. Again, inhale, heart forward, just moving the spine really nicely. to get a nice evenness here in your actions. Inhale, come up to all fours position. If you have those blocks, grab them. And we'll do some easy movement with the right foot right between your blocks. Drop into a lower lunge and come out of the low lunge to straighten your front leg, lift your toes up, spread your toes, and draw your heart forward and slightly down. We're not rounding the spine here. Bend your knee again. Same thing. Draw into the low lunge. Come out of it to a straight leg. Lift your toes up. Draw your heart forward and slightly down. One more time. Bend your knee. Drop into your low lunge. Straighten your front leg. Lift your toes up and soften down. Trade sides, so you take your left foot forward, draw down, and just start to notice the difference. One side moves maybe a little bit more easily than the other. Lift your toes up, spread your toes, draw down. Again, bend the knee and drop a little bit deeper as you go through this flow of deeper lunges to a straight leg or runner's lunge, they often call it. And one more time, bend your knee, drop in, straighten your leg, lift your toes up, and soften there. Now make your way to a standing position. In your standing position, step wide with your feet parallel. Place your hands to your hips. Open your chest, hug your elbows in. With the knees slightly bent, draw down to a forward fold. You can take your hands to the mat or to blocks. This pulse here with the breath. So the in-breath has you lift up slightly. The out-breath has you draw down. The in-breath, you rise up slightly. The out-breath, you soften. And again, in-breath to out-breath. Walk your hands over toward your right foot. You may want to take your left hand to the outer right leg, the right hand to the low back. Again, in this practice, we're not going deep into the twist, just an easy way to get length to the side body, and a way to awaken and lengthen the side body. Release your hands. Come back to the opposite side. As you go to the left side, take your right hand somewhere to the outside of the leg. Take your left hand to the low back, or just keep your hands to the floor. And breathe in fully from the pelvis to the armpit. Feel how the breath gives you this length. You breathe out and you soften. Release your hands down. Heel toe your feet in toward one another. Place your hands to your low back and rise up out of your pose. Now step off your mat. Bend your knees just slightly. Cross your left leg over your right and just park your toes just to the mat. So as you just pause here and balance on one leg, the left toes are still on the floor. If you'd like to lift the left toes up, that's fine. If you'd like to even wrap the toes, that's fine behind the Achilles tendon. But in this cooling practice, we're not going too deep in these poses. We're just allowing ourselves to settle down into more ease. You can take your arms up, spread your wings wide, and just pause here in the steadiness and the strength of the right leg. Just balance yourself more fully. Release your hands down. Now let's do the same on the left leg. So bend the knees. Take your right leg in front. Just cross over. Again, you can keep your toe tips down. We want to hug in toward the midline of this balance pose. As you draw in and get steadiness on the left leg, you can lift your arms up to find nice fullness in the pose, nice ease in your breath, just creating a nice steadiness, nice ease. We're not overpowering it in the pose. Now slowly release your hands and come to a seated position. Just like we had the wide stance in the standing position, we'll come to a wide stance in the seated position. I like using a blanket, a little elevation for this pose called Upavistha konasana, with your legs nice and wide apart. Many of us benefit from a slight bend to the knees here. That allows you to come more forward on your sit bones. And just as we did when we were standing, walk your hands over toward the right foot. Take your left hand to the outer right leg. Take your right hand to your low back. Let the in-breath expand the side body. On the out breath, if your knees are bent, you can now start to straighten your left leg. Keep your right knee slightly bent as you draw over toward the right side. Inhale, lift yourself up. Come back to the center position and lift both knees up. So with both knees slightly lifted, you can engage by drawing the heels down into the floor, hugging them in toward the pelvis to draw forward just slightly. And inhale, rise up. Now take your right hand to the outer left leg. Take your left hand to your side. Use the hand as a kickstand to lift and lengthen first. You can keep the hand there or take it to the low back. Now slowly, as you draw down, can you straighten your right leg as you bring your heart just a little bit closer toward your leg. Again, we're not going real deep in these poses. It's a practice to bring your awareness to your body, your breath, to create a feeling of coolness. If it's a hot summer day, or maybe you're just feeling a little bit too fiery in your temperament. Now cross your legs. Probably you came to the cross of your legs in the way that feels most familiar to you. So let's take your legs the opposite way. Cross your legs so that the middle of your shin is now pressing into the belly of the calf muscle of the front leg. Place your hands to the mat. Bend your elbows. With your hands on fingertip top position, just draw your heart forward. Now you may feel like there's a little bit more weight to one sit bone than the other. So if you feel like one sit bone is slightly lifting, then push the opposite arm a little bit more fully so the pelvis becomes a little bit more balanced. Your sit bones are equally rooted. Inhale, lift yourself up, come to lie down once again. Bend your knees. Place your right ankle to the outer left leg, just like we did before. Now that the hips are a bit more open, we can pull the left thigh in and interlace the fingers. But if that feels a little bit too intense for you, just do it the way we started with the foot on the ground, taking the hands to the top of the thigh. As you move a little bit deeper toward this pose, sucirandrasana, see about reaching the right knee away from your right ribs. Keep your toes of the right foot very active and the left foot very active. So you're pushing the left foot back. You're pushing the right foot to the side, drawing the right knee further away from your ribs. You breathe in and out. You can release now your left foot to the mat, the right foot to the mat. Trade sides to take the left ankle to the outer right knee. Just draw your knee just a little bit further away. Again, you can stack the hands like we did before, or if you want a deeper stretch, interlace your fingers right at the belly of the hamstrings and coax your left thigh to move further away from your left ribs. Invite your breath to help you move a little bit deeper in this pose. If you're feeling like the low back is flat against the mat, see if you can move your right foot so that it's kind of pressing away from your face so that you can create a nice lumbar curve as you're reaching your left thigh further back. The legs stay fully engaged. Your breath is full. And you can release your feet down to the mat. Pull your right thigh in again. Just get a nice hug there. Reach your right foot toward the sky. Hold on to the right shin or the right foot and draw down. If you feel like you've got the freedom to do so, see about extending your left leg and try to get the top of the left thigh to come down a little bit closer to the earth. Slowly come out of this pose, bend the left knee, plant the right foot to the earth. Bring the left thigh in, give it a hug. Now take the left foot up toward the sky with the left knee bent. Find the shin, find the foot, the baby toe side of the foot, possibly to bring the knee to the outer rib area. And again, if you feel like you can straighten the right leg and urge the top of the right thigh to come a little bit closer to the mat, to give your inner groin area a nice stretch, go ahead and do that. And slowly release, bend your right knee, release your left foot. Now grab hold of your blocks if you have them. If you don't have blocks, whatever you use to lift your pelvis. And as you find that perfect spot to settle the pelvis, take your feet up in the air and enjoy your breath. Some of you may wish to take your legs up against the wall, but whatever pose you come to, just allow this cooling pose to just bring ease to your mind, coolness to your body. With your feet elevated, it takes the heart to a resting state. And in this position, come to a flow of the breath where you emphasize the out breath. The out breath is long and full. In through the nose, out long through the nose. Whether you're at the wall or in this supported shoulder stand, maybe there's some way that you can bring a little bit more ease to your pose. For some of us, that might mean bending the knees slightly. Keep pressing your head back so that you have this nice engagement of the muscles of your neck. Keep your attention to your breath. Slowly take your feet down to the mat. Keep your pelvis elevated just for a moment as you root down through your feet to get a nice lifting quality in the heart. Maintaining that lifting quality. Lift your pelvis slightly up off the blocks. Remove the blocks. Slowly lower your pelvis down to the mat. Extend your left leg out, your right leg out, your arms to your side with your palms facing up. The coolness of the practice allows you to rest very comfortably. You continue that attention to the out breath that you had when your feet were elevated. You lengthen the out breath. Very soft and easeful breath. You enjoy a nice, a cooling, easeful savasana. take the time to enjoy and find the fullness in this resting pose. Before moving on to your daily activities. You breathe in and out. Finding ease. Enjoy your savasana. Namaste.